some good information for today's video. Today we're going to be talking about why when you do a bicep curl ahead of your midline, right here, versus doing a bicep curl to the back of your midline, why it makes a difference. And it's important to know if you're a trainer, or if you're a therapist, or if you have shoulder pain, because depending on the position of your arm, it'll develop your bicep very differently, and that's what I want to talk about for today. Let's get Andrew getting that pump. Get that pump. Okay, so let's drop the bar. So if we take Andrew, for example, and we take his ear, we take his shoulder, we take his hip, we take his ankle, and we draw a straight line, okay? That line, we'll refer to that as your midline. So if Andrew, let's say, do shoulder flexion, okay? So for Andrew to be able to do that, let's get into the anatomy. Your biceps, your delts, and your pecs have to all engage. Some of them initiate, some of them are more active than others in certain positions, but for the most part, they have to engage for Andrew to get into this position. Go back down. So what does that have to do with your biceps? If Andrew, grab the weights. Based off of that knowledge, if Andrew were to do a bicep curl ahead of this midline, and you see people doing this, if Andrew were to do this, based off of the theory that I just told you, his biceps, delts, pecs are engaging for him to sustain this contraction, meaning his biceps, specifically the long head of his biceps, the one that's more on the exterior side, the outer part of his bicep, has to engage a little bit more, or let's say it's already turned on to a greater degree compared to that shorter head, which is why doing a bicep curl from the midline going forward is very different compared to doing a bicep curl go behind the midline. Compared to doing a bicep curl from this position, and we've all done this, we've all seen this, doing a bicep curl in this position isn't engaging that long head in the same manner that doing a bicep curl from the midline going forward does. And that's basically the difference I want to highlight, because I get a lot of questions why sometimes when they do a bicep curl from ahead of the midline versus behind the midline, why that causes a different pump in their bicep. And it's basically that simple. So in terms of training, you can use this information to better your training, or if you're dealing with pain, learn to contract in different positions, whether it's shoulder flexion or behind midline, and see what elicits pain, because we know that your biceps are engaging in different ranges, therefore it can lead to different types of pain. So anyways, comment below, let me know. Oh, and by the way, that's why these machines work. So you don't necessarily need them, but this, based off of this theory, this is why they work, because they hold you in a shoulder flex position, meaning you're already pre-engaging your long head of your bicep. So you don't necessarily have to invest in these, but if you got the money, you can, but you don't necessarily need them.